Cool. All right. What's up, guys? So this is
Uh,
the first Move and Brew chat, Move and Brew cast. Um, I guess we'll start by introducing ourselves. My name is Ethan Summers. I'm a licensed physical therapist assistant here in St. Louis and overall fitness enthusiast, kind of a movement nerd. John,
you nerd.
movement nerd.
My name is John McNamara. I'm also from St. Louis. Recently graduated college with a bachelor's degree in health and physical education. Played college football for 5 years, and now I teach and coach track and basketball or football. I'm sorry, not basketball.
That's funny. Um,
Total opposite direction.
Yep.
well, I'm definitely the coffee enthusiast of the group. I feel like
Barista boy over there.
I'm Mike Summers. I'm a exercise physiologist here in St. Louis at Sports Medicine Training Center. I have my undergrad in exercise science and my master's in exercise physiology, as well as Ethan, a exercise enthusiast, and just love different kinds of movements, different variations, just keeping things fun and exciting. And one of the many tools to help get through that is some good coffee. So while we're going to be talking, I'm going to be brewing over here as we chat about fitness and about kind of what all this is. So let's do this.
Good introduction, guys.
Nice job. Gold star.
Yeah.
Barista boy.
Except John, I thought football was only 4 years.
I was there for 5. Okay.
Ooh.
I'm just teasing.
Okay.
Ooh.
I'm just teasing you.
All right. I want to talk a little bit about what Move and Brew is before we get too deep into our talk today.
Let's do it.
So Move and Brew, we initially wanted to call ourselves Coffee Beans and Hang Cleans. Didn't feel like it flowed all that well. So Move and Brew is what we landed on, and I think it encompasses a lot of the things just in that simple phrase, kind of what we like, what we believe in. So first one, move, the movement, obviously. I like to say, and I believe movement is medicine. I mean, we're all meant to move and stay moving and mobile. And I think that is imperative just as humans. We need to be able to move and move well. And brew, we all like coffee to some degree, some a little more than others, but we all like some form of coffee. So Move and Brew, I think, and I've said this in the past as well, I think to me, it just stands like for fitness for all. I think we want to focus on a really broad spectrum of fitness. It's a very broad term, but fitness in general, not focusing on one niche necessarily. So kind of throwing out things that a lot of people can do, showing modifications to difficult things, just fitness for all, things that anybody can do.
Yeah,
that's about it for me.
I like that fitness for all. Comment on this. I think Move and Brew for me too is kind of piggyback offing that fitness for all, and it's a place where it's a platform people can either stay motivated, find some new things, see what we're doing, stuff that's maybe unique. We're not out there to be influencers or show like what we're doing in the gym. We just kind of want to just promote moving is the best thing. Movement is medicine, and quality of life for people like us. We work every day. Quality of life is important to us and our families and friends and everything like that. So just kind of promoting fitness so everyone can age in a nice healthy manner and being able to move and do things they want to do. If you're in your 70s and you want to go kayaking. Just kind of keeping the movement flowing and then the coffee brewing. So it's kind of what it means to me.
I like it. All right, John, let's hear it from you, man. What's Move and Brew?
To me, it's mainly what I believe is that fitness, like you both have hit on, is for everybody. I know people, Mike and I touched on influencers like on Instagram and everything, just because that's what gets the most press is guys doing burpees over boxes and pull-ups and all the other stuff. It can be intimidating to a lot of people. And I think the whole fitness for all thing, I kind of feel sums up what we are, like we're definitely at different fitness levels just between the three of us. I'm 6'10" and a very large human being. Mike's kind of in between, and Ethan's kind of on the shorter side. But
no, you can say it. You can say it. I'm a little human.
We got 6'10", 6'5", and I don't even know Ethan. I'm sorry.
5'4" on a good day.
But no,
I wish that was a joke.
All of our fitness levels vary differently, and I think the three of us working out together and with the people that we work out with, I think that's kind of what we are, is that everyone can do this stuff together, just very
modified
difficulties, for everybody. So
I like it.
That's awesome.
I like it. Move and brew. All right, Mike, I have a question for you.
Is it what I'm drinking? I would love to tell you what I just made.
Oh yeah, okay. Let's start there since it's fresh. What did you just make?
So you can Google it. It's called a cafe rapido. It's or a dirty coffee. It is a espresso shot with a half a serving of a syrup. So it's a cinnamon vanilla espresso shot.
Is that a regular sized mug? It just looks tiny in your hand.
No, this is Mike. I'm not John. So
you're a big human too. You're just not as big.
Well, yeah. Well, this is my decaf coffee mug that I also brewed. So
you're double fisting it. Oh my gosh.
Some like to move, some like to brew. I like to do both.
You're a brewer and a mover.
Now taking this to the other room is going to be the tricky part here.
Yeah, with 2 coffee mugs and a laptop.
I'll have to come back for the other one.
All right, John, while he's transitioning, I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
How did you get into fitness? Where did it start for you? And it can be brief, just kind of lay it out where you started at.
I really didn't start lifting weights till I was in probably 7th grade. There was a night. It was kind of like a night class for middle school football players, where we could all go up to the high school at the end of the day where no one was there, and we would start lifting. And being so tall, it was the mobility that I had was horrible, so squats were terrible and everything else. But that's kind of how I got into it, was just to be stronger and in better shape and all my other sports that I played growing up. So
cool. Mike, how about you? Where did it start for you?
I think mine was in grade school. I think 7th, 8th grade. My dad took me to a YMCA, and then after we did our first workout together, I wanted to join the gym by our house just because it was a lot closer. Some buddies in grade school joined, and we kind of just did the basic, 8th grade freshman year high school lifts. The bench press and the
curls,
the curls, the deadlifts with the rounded back, all that stuff. So it was kind of the perfect storm, I guess, or I grew to love it really fast, but it was one of those things I had to learn a lot from it, from making all those mistakes. But yeah, it was super fun. Learned at a decent age, but as of course as I got older, I grew to love it more. Cool. How about you, Ethan?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I've always enjoyed fitness to some degree, starting elementary school, but I probably didn't get serious until high school. I mean, I was playing football and in the weight room and stuff. Starting off, of course, like any high school football player, the weight room, you spent a lot of time there, but you didn't really know what you were doing.
Right.
Yeah.
That's something I think we could do better as enthusiasts. That's just like fitness enthusiasts. Trying to promote education of people who are going to be coaching these things. So like high school football coaches, a lot of times, at least where I'm from, because I'm from a very small town, high school football coaches, they don't know much about lifting. They know what they learned in high school. It's just a chain of poor education and poor teaching in high schools. Right. In small high schools. I mean, bigger schools, yeah, there are a lot of like strength and conditioning coaches that know how to lift and know how to teach.
Sure. Which I think is really cool because John is actually a high school football coach, and I think it's cool to have somebody who's wants to understand why we do things or why, so John works out with me. So John trains at our facility that we work at, and he'll ask, what should we program? What should I program? How does this look? Things like that. And he runs ideas by me, and he knows his stuff. And so I think I think these kids, and I work with some of his players, and his players are in great hands. I think there's a difference between, like Ethan said, just having somebody educated, or at least that wants to do what's best for the athlete, not just okay, go see how much you can back squat, go see how much you can bench press, and
yeah, that's it.
Whatever. So yeah, I think even just teaching the correct form. I mean, it's funny, you teach a kid correct form, his weight decreases tremendously. So it's just kind of
that kind of was the trap that I fell into, like early on. Was like,
sure.
I'm this big guy, I should be able to squat as much as all these other big guys. Not the case at all. I think the first time I tried doing 315, but it was basically like a good morning, and I almost like severely hurt myself. Like I went down, and it was just all on my neck, and I was like, I need to learn form. So, but
that moment.
That
whoa! I don't know what I'm doing, but there's a lot of weight on my neck.
Yeah, it didn't help that it was in front of a college coach too, that like came to like visit the school, which was great.
Yeah,
that was fun. So,
so promoting proper movement and proper understanding of these things, I think that's a big part of what we would like to do. I don't know how many people we'll be able to reach, but we're going to preach it anyway. Whoever wants to listen can listen. I think it'll be important.
Right. I agree.
Okay, let's get back to Move and Brew.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw this out there. Whoever wants to kind of jump on it can. Where do you guys think we're going to go with Move and Brew? Like what are next steps? What do we want it to look like past this point?
I think where I think we're going to go with this, at least to start, is going to be a lot of inclusive type stuff. You know what I mean? So like Mike pitched the idea to me the other day about, doing variations of movements to get more people, like to make it more accessible for people in a way. So like just for example, like burpees, like there's multiple variations of ways you can do a burpee without actually doing one for someone who's never done one before, So like to some people, it's like, why is that person face planting on the ground multiple times and getting back up? So
that looks like a terrible idea.
It looks like a horrible idea. Like in hindsight, whoever made that movement must have been like a psycho. Like
Jonathan Burpee.
The Jonathan Burpee.
Of course.
He's an ass.
Oh, Mr. Burpee. So, all right, Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. And for John, just even just the modifications for somebody like for your size too, just to give you the same stimulus that somebody like myself would get, or somebody like Ethan, who's I probably do a modification of something that he does sometimes. So yeah, in a way, it's just kind of showing that from what normal people see on, or not normal people, but from what people normally see on like the Instagrams, the Facebooks, is it's very like that guy's doing, like what John said, the burpee over a box, like a one-handed pull-up. Like I'm not gonna be able to do that. And I think that I think what this could be is just a platform to get more movers and brewers, to get more people that want to have another platform to view different ideas for fitness, bounce questions off of us, and follow our journey on promoting safe and educational content for fitness. And yeah, it's really cool. So
yeah, I like that.
Yeah. How about you, Ethan?
You guys said a lot that I agree with. I think starting off with these videos are going to be great. Just trying to reach out to people and get them to be engaged and be as, approachable as possible. Because it can be intimidating just working out and lifting weights, and that stuff can be intimidating. So yeah, I mean, we want to reach to the people who are higher level that would like to be more engaged in more challenging things, and people who are just getting started, who are intimidated by it. I mean, we want to be approachable, fitness for all, And we wanted to be all encompassing. I mean, not just, like I said earlier, not just CrossFit, not just powerlifting, not just sports specific things, just all encompassing fitness in general, promoting health and wellness and good movement and quality of life. Like you said, that's a great topic that we can talk about at some point. Quality of life.
Absolutely.
So trying to reach as many people as we can, and not trying to, I guess, be influencers necessarily, just
Right.
educators instead.
Yeah, we're just kind of like what you said. We're not going to be it's not a CrossFit channel. It's not a strength powerlifting channel. It's not even like an endurance channel or anything like that. It's just
Right.
movement in general. So with that being said, I think all of us have a different background on fitness and kind of what we're doing right now. So let's talk. So Ethan, what are you up to in the gym these days?
I get asked that a lot, actually. I don't really have any set goals at the moment. A lot of it's just trying to maintain what I have gained. I mean, in terms of strength and I guess body composition too, a little bit. But I'm just trying to maintain where I'm at, stay strong. I'm not trying to go push a ton of weight or pull a ton of weight. I'm realistic with what my capabilities are. So I'm trying to maintain where I'm at. I generally like to try and stay a little more lean. So my training kind of, I train to promote that leanness versus just like size or endurance. I may do some endurance, but anyway.
Sure.
It's kind of where I'm at with it.
Yeah.
So I do that. I like to do that through a lot of weightlifting mainly. So a lot of weightlifting. That's kind of just like my main thing. I enjoy it the most, so I focus on that the most. And
right.
For now, it works. See where it takes me.
Heck yeah! Gotta get wedding ready.
Gotta get wedding ready.
Gotta fit in that suit, man.
I have some work to do.
Let's do it. I'm about it. What about you, big man?
So the main stuff that I'm doing is kind of like a mixture of things. It's part CrossFit, it's part powerlifting, it's part like sports training. So like I said at the beginning, I played college football for 5 years, and when COVID hit, I didn't really get like an opportunity to like try to pursue it anymore. So my goal is, sometime in June they're supposed to have XFL tryouts or a combine or something, and my goal is to be ready for that whenever that happens. Just so I can give it a shot. So that's where I'm at.
Heck yeah, man. You'll get there. Absolutely.
So I guess you're up now, Mike.
Oh boy. Well, I'm doing the CrossFit Open this year, and actually I was talking to Ethan this past weekend about it. I wouldn't necessarily say my training is specifically 100% CrossFit. I don't follow a box program. I don't follow specific coaches workouts. I write my own stuff. I'm lucky enough to know what my body needs and all this stuff to kind of work out that kind of capacity and those kind of movements and such. But lately it's just been a lot of strength training and conditioning and some more strength training, but with a lot more conditioning sprinkled in, and a little bit of mobility, just to keep my
a little bit of mobility.
That's what's
sprinkled in is the mobility.
Right. Well, I'm a very stiff individual, but I feel like my mobility all this training has definitely helped in the mobility for sure. So
it should, as long as you're moving through full range of motion with everything.
Oh, everything feels great. Body feels awesome. We have 2 weeks from Friday. I'll do my first one, so it's kind of a crunch time now. So it's just fun training, and it's 5 days a week, just really hard, high intensity, and yeah, once that's over, I'll just run every day and not lift weights.
You're gonna be a triathlete,
and then just drink tons of coffee.
Get some heart palpitations.
So looking forward to that.
Oh yeah.
To what? Him drinking coffee and running?
No, just him running every time we come to the gym. You guys, we're gonna run today. Okay, I'll see you guys later.
Enjoy that.
Yeah.
So John, I want to talk about your situation a little bit, because you're a collegiate athlete, right? You've touched on that a little bit, but I've used this term in the past, but you are stuck in purgatory, it seems like.
Yeah.
So COVID kind of ruined, well, not ruined, but it made you postpone your athletic plans, right?
Yeah. So when COVID hit, I was on spring break. And so it's like, oh, you're going to stay home for another week. And I was like, cool. And then it's like, you're going to stay home for another week. Cool. Oh, you're not coming back. And this is like my last semester of school that I did all from home. You know, all the gyms were closed at that time, I think. You know, so it was weird. And then like a month or two later, the XFL like closed. Like it was like done. I was like, okay, well there goes that. So like you said, I was just kind of stuck trying to be like, okay, what's next? Like where do I go from here? Like I had my diploma, I had everything like for the most part. I'm like, where do I go from here? And then shout out to The Rock for purchasing the XFL. If he ever sees this, thank you. our father, The Rock.
Yeah, our Lord and Savior, Dwayne Johnson.
So yeah, that's my training kind of switched around a lot. So it's been interesting, and so hopefully sometime in June they said they're going to have something, or that's when they're going to start back up. So we'll just see where it goes from here. So
heck yeah.
All right, so Mike, as his technically as his trainer, what will that look like? What will that look like? Are you going to switch up his routine, his training for that to like get him prepared for XFL?
Yeah, definitely. I think the past few weeks we've definitely incorporated more of the speed and agility work in this program. I think for a while during the dead of winter, we focused more on the tempo, the mobility, range of motion of lifts, just controlling our bodies. And then as the season kind of progresses, it gets warmer out. There's gonna be a lot more track and field workouts. So we'll be on the field and be on the track and running. And I think the speed and the agility, we got the strength up right now, and we'll definitely maintain that. And now the quickness has got to come back. And
yeah,
I think June's realistic. If they come out and say June, or there's a tryout, or in the Midwest in July or something, or what, and anytime middle of 2021, I definitely think you'll be ready. That's cool. What this morning was when you were 20 minutes straight, just jump roping and side shuffling for 20 minutes straight. That's definitely that style of training.
Exactly. We were just like, well, the other thing was like we normally do morning stuff, like morning workouts, because I go to work and you go to work, and there's like no real time where I can like get away to go work out.
Sure.
But like the 2 weeks before this, it was like 6 degrees.
Yeah, we just stayed inside. We didn't go to the gym at 5.
And roads were horrible, and
yeah, it was brutal there for a while.
We'll push this to the late afternoon, but now we're kind of getting back into more of like that 2-a-day type style. So
sure. But hey, you make it work, and I feel like that's another thing that I feel like we could help with people out. Like even just giving advice, like. Look at Ethan. Look at your schedule. Granted, your Tuesday, Thursdays, you have more of like an afternoon. And besides getting like daily life, chores accomplished, you find time throughout the whole week to get your training in. I feel like every one of us has a very good drive as far as time management goes, as far as fitness. And I feel like that's one thing. That's probably the biggest thing. People love the idea of, oh, I'm gonna go to the gym. Yeah, I'll pack my bag the night before. I'll definitely I'll go. I'll do this. And then the time comes and they don't do it. And I feel like
very little follow through.
Yeah, and I feel like just having it goes back to what we want Mover to be. Even just another like motivation. Like we're just people working, or people working. Like we're not anybody spectacular. You know what I mean? Like. We're all great people, of course, but as far as fitness goes, we're just some people that want to share it and our love for it, but we want to also motivate and help people strive to be the best versions of themselves too. So I feel like that's one thing we can touch on with all this is just helping motivate people and helping them with time management, because that is just.
I love that. That's a great point. And I don't think of it as finding time. I think it's making time in a lot of cases. And if it's something that you want, you have to make time for it. You'll have to put it into your schedule. Absolutely. I get up at 4 a.m. a lot of mornings and work out before I go to work. Sometimes at 6, 7, 8 o'clock. 4 a.m. Absolutely. That's friggin' early. but I do it because I have priorities. I mean, I want to take care of myself, and I enjoy it too. I mean, that's a big part of it. I've gotten to the point where I love lifting weights. I enjoy it. I look forward to it. So it's easier for me to make that time.
Right.
It becomes a habit at some point. I mean, I think
absolutely.
That's a big thing that we should promote too, is just once you start, you'll realize how good it feels, and hopefully you will make that time and you'll prioritize and be able to fit it in.
Nobody wants to wake up at 4 a.m. to go work out, but like you said, if it's important to you and you want to do it, like you'll do it. You know, like waking up early was like for most people, it's like, oh, I keep hitting the snooze alarm. Like when I hear my alarm go off, like my aggressive alarm, that's one thing we talked about yesterday was my
aggressive iPhone alarm.
Oh no, it's like the ducks quacking and like something like that. Like I have to get up out of bed. If I sit there and I lay there for more than a minute, I'm going right back to sleep. So like as soon as my feet touch the floor, it's like, all right, get up and go, like do something, like go like walk into the kitchen or do whatever. You know, Mike's wind chime alarm would not wake
me. But let me tell you, real talk, that wind chime like bell alarm that I have is super quiet, but when I hear something that wakes me up, that means coffee's ready. I mean, I'm just go grab the cup, man. I don't get so many regular cups of coffee a day, so I'm when I go to bed, I get excited to wake up to drink that coffee, so I'm all about it.
Some people would refer to that as an addiction.
We don't need to talk about that today. We can talk about that another time.
We have
coffee addiction. Coffee addiction. Yeah, it's not a problem. It's not an issue. It's not something we need to worry about
yet. Someday.
So I talk a big talk about the whole getting up at 4 a.m. thing, which I do most mornings during the week. But if you do slip and you don't get up at 4 a.m. or 5 a.m. or whatever it is, you don't get up at that time, people look at that as a total failure. It's like, oh, well, you know what? That's it. I'm done for the week. It started off terribly. Try again next week. And then they might try again next week. I mean, you have to allow those days. I mean, some days it just doesn't happen. You know, we're all human. We all have those mornings, those days where it's just like, you know what? It's not happening today. And you have to come to terms with that, but recover from that and move forward and try again the next day. I mean, set those goals, set those intentions, and make it happen. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
I think one of the best things I heard was most people like they think, oh, I didn't wake up early. Like you said, it's a failure. Well, you didn't wake up early, but you still have how many hours in a day you could go like, go after work and then just go to bed earlier and wake and try again the next day. Like it's like a progression, you know. So
I think a lot of it too is, and this is what my wife and I have been, we definitely learned this over the quarantine, is what do we do in our daily life that kind of steers us in habits that don't benefit us as much. And I know the first few weeks of the quarantine, everyone's watching Netflix and laying around and maybe just eating frozen pizzas or ordering out, whatever. And we were guilty of it for a while, but then after a while, it really hit us. And it's, it was really hard to stay motivated during the quarantine, but it's like, what are we going to do that benefits us? And if we didn't wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning and work out, I'm not going to watch TV at 5 p.m. or 7 p.m. on a night. I'm going to go try to move, go exercise, even if it's like a yoga video or, any kind of movement is going to be better than nothing. But it's just, I'm not going to do something that's going to have if there's no return on the action, there shouldn't be an excuse. Your body's an investment. When you go to sleep, you're investing in your health. When you're eating, you're investing in yourself. People are so money driven and doing things, buying things that they want to just be able to relax and shut off, when really they need to keep doing things that will benefit them. And I feel like if people invested more into that, people would live much happier lives. I don't know. I could go on a rant for this for hours, but yeah, you just got to invest in yourself. It's food, it's sleep, it's exercise, it's all.
Welcome to Mickey's TED Talk.
Thank you.
No, I love that. You're absolutely right. It is an investment, and you have to realize that going in, that it's not easy. Right. I mean, it's just that it's an investment. You're going to face challenges, but you still have to prioritize.
Right. When you're investing $1,000 in stocks or something, or whatever you do with your money, there's sometimes you can take risks on things. Well, with this, you risk possibly being tired or possibly missing out on if you're going to work out on a Saturday morning at 6 and everyone's going to go out, well, not with COVID probably, but everyone's going to go out on a Friday night. And if you miss out, like, okay, you miss out on something, but at least you get to better yourself. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a lot to think about. There's a lot of conversation in that area. But if anyone has any, tips or questions on that kind of stuff, please DM us because we could talk about that for hours.
I could go for a while on that topic, definitely.
Yeah. So kind of still going back to the fitness thing, Mike and I kind of got into CrossFit and CrossFit training early on. So Mike, why don't you talk about how, like, what you first got into, like, cross training, because a lot of people, like, they look at it and they're like, that's like the furthest thing, and they're like, nope, get that away from me.
Yeah, you see CrossFit it's a bastardized term, so they're just like, oh, that's almost like a fitness cult, so they're like, hey, get out of there. No, it's cool. I'll kind of make it brief. I got really lucky when I was introduced to it. So I was introduced in 2016 and 17 by a fellow graduate assistant when I was in grad school. His name's Andrew Seha, and he very, very fit guy, was doing CrossFit, was going to boxes, has level 1 coaching, real into it. And it was at the same time when I'm married to my high school sweetheart, and we were together in college and everything. And so she was over for a dinner one night at my parents' house, and my mom and dad's big Italian dinner meal, and we're eating and we go for a walk after, and she goes, "You ate so much food." And I'm like, "Yeah, I was hungry." And she goes, "You don't need to eat like that." Like, and at this point I was pushing, 300, pounds, right around 300, and I'm like 245 right now. So it's kind of nice. But I found, food, and I found, healthy food thanks to my wife, who is a dietitian, and then CrossFit at the same time. So I started doing the opens. I started, learning from this graduate assistant, and, I can't do all the gymnastic stuff, and some of it I just don't feel comfortable with, but, there's a lot of modifications, which we'll show and we'll do. But just learning that intensity of training, that's what drove me for fitness. I know I love the grind. I love the metabolic conditioning. I love the physiology behind it with, for my eating, I was doing fasting and just, I could go into this forever. So if anyone has any questions, but fat oxidation and your insulin improvement just from fasting and exercising while you're fasted, also with copious amounts of coffee. But just finding both of those things at the same time was kind of like a blessing for me. And I think I could sit here and say that doing cross training style of exercise and doing a certain diet definitely changed my life for the better. And that's why I continue to do it today. And, it makes me feel good. And I feel the best I felt, better than when I was 18 to 24 years old. So, that's kind of my journey through it. So it's pretty fun. I know John's got something similar, I think.
Yeah. So end of my second year of college, I'll try to make it as brief as I can too. Got called into my coach's office as like an exit meeting at the end of the year. And he goes, "You're too overweight." He goes, "We're taking your scholarship away unless you lose weight. Like, you have to come back." I think at the time I was at my heaviest. Like, I was like, at my heaviest, I was like 405 pounds. And he goes, "If you come back at, like, I don't even remember what the weight was, like, at this weight, we'll give you a partial, like, part of your scholarship back." And it was my own fault. Like, I tried to out-train a bad diet, like a really bad diet. Yeah. And so I went home and I got in touch with my high school basketball coach. And I was like, "Hey, I saw you're doing this thing called CrossFit." Like, "What's that?" And he showed me a video of like the CrossFit Games. And I was like, "There's no way I'm getting my big behind up a rope. Like, there is no way." He goes, "Just come try it." So I go with him one day, and he was going to watch and like kind of like help me out. I show up and I'm like warming up for like the CrossFit class, and they go, "All right, here's the workout." And they put it up on this board, and they go, "All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to run a mile." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, what?" And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm thinking that's the whole workout. I was like, okay, I can suffer through a mile, but I forgot the CrossFit box is at the bottom of a hill, and the first 100 yards are uphill. So I get to the top of the hill. Everyone's already just dusted me, and they're running down the road. And I'm like, God, this is horrible. Like, can I do this? And if it wasn't for my high school basketball coach, shout out to Coach Wolford, I probably would have just been like, I'm done. Like, forget this. He's like, nope, you're coming back in here. You got to do the other part of the workout. I go, there's another part of the workout? It was like deadlifts and burpees over a bar. And I'm like, okay, deadlift, I got this. Like, and that stupid gene kind of flipped in my head. I was like, oh yeah, just start doing deadlifts. And then burpees over the bar. And like he came over like, you need to slow down. Otherwise you are going to redline and burn out. And I did. I redlined and burned out. I sat out the rest of the workout. And the coach came over to me. He was like, hey, this isn't like football training where it's all out and stop and all out and stop. Like it's like a continuous go. He goes, you can do this stuff. Like you can move the weight. He goes, you just got to get your conditioning up. And that's what we're going to work on. And had it not been for that CrossFit coach, I probably would have just walked out of there. I'm like, man, I'm done. I'm just going to go run forever on a track or do whatever and not eat, and I'll lose weight. But I was really thankful for that coach. So.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And
everyone's just got to find their thing. Everyone's just got to kind of find what makes them move and move and groove. You know, some people it is that kind of training, and some people it is just strength training, and you know, some people like to just ride a bike a lot. You know, it's everyone finds their stuff. So that's really cool that, you know, that kind of exercise is helping a lot of people.
Yeah, find what serves you, what gets you to your goal.
Absolutely.
From point A to point B, you know, we all have different vehicles, no matter what that is. And
some run on gas.
If that's your thing, run with it.
Some run on gas, some run on coffee, some run on wontons.
Big wontons.
I swear, there's a t-shirt that says "Big Wonton."
Dude, when's your birthday? Isn't your birthday April 13th?
How did you remember that?
I'm very good at birthdays.
I was really hoping he was going to be like, dude, my birthday's in November.
No, I'm pretty sure.
Guess that, and you didn't say anything?
Because Elvin's is 16. So I knew you were like a couple days before him. But yeah, I think for your birthday, you're definitely gonna get you're gonna get a wonton shirt and a wonton salad from Birdco.
Oh yeah.
That sounds pretty good.
Big wonton.
That's awesome.
Oh, big Office fan too. So at some point in time, you know, we'll probably use some Office references. At least I will. I don't know about Mike because he doesn't like The Office. And I'm hoping that generates a lot of comments under this video.
I can't.
Michael Summers does not like The Office.
I do not like The Office. It's too cringe for me, and maybe if I were to watch it when it came out, but I think watching it now, it's
that's why it is so beautiful. It is a masterpiece. Sorry, off topic, but not really.
It's okay. It's okay. Nike.
Dude, if I wear a Gatorade shirt, I'm sponsored by Gatorade. If I wear Nike, you always say I'm just, hey, John, look.
Oh.
Okay.
That's funny.
Let's do one last thing. There was supposed to be some question that you guys were supposed to ask, and I've been thinking about it this whole chat, and I want it to be asked. Whoever wants to. I'm not going to do it. But.
John, this is your question, so
this is my question. Like, growing up, a lot of us didn't really think about like what's something was going to better my life down the line. So what are 3 things? It could be like something you bought, something that you practice every day now, or anything of that nature that has improved your overall like health, your life in general. What? Mike's going to get a cup of coffee. I know he is. He's gonna walk back in here with a coffee pot.
He didn't like that question. He's
no, guys. I had to tell my wife that I fed the dog before she fed him again.
Oh, we thought you got bored.
No. I had to
That's
tell
a
her I fed the
sensitive
dog.
subject.
No, I love this question.
So
I do too. After thinking about it a little bit, I didn't want to answer the question initially because I thought it was silly, and I tried to ignore my childhood. Not that it was terrible. I just was trying to ignore it.
so why don't you go first then, Ethan? Let's hear this.
I'll go first. Yeah. I'll go first. So one of the biggest things that I probably, looking back, could have valued more is quality time. And I'm going to use quality time as two of mine. Quality time with my family, just in general, quality time with my family. Quality time by myself. I mean, just learning how to be by myself and take that time and just practice, self-love, I guess, so I think time, and this is going to be I don't know if this counts, but I'm going to make this my takeaway. Time to me is like our most valuable asset, especially in like the performance or fitness world. I mean, you have so many years of true performance. I'm not saying you can't continue with that later in life. I mean, you want to have longevity in the gym and with whatever it is that you enjoy to do. But true performance, I mean, youthfulness and performance kind of go hand in hand. However, wisdom comes later in life. So it's hard to balance, because so time is super valuable, but both youthfulness and wisdom are going in opposite directions. You don't have the wisdom when you're younger.
That's
As
true.
you age, you gain wisdom, but you lose some of that youthfulness. And I think that's another reason that just fitness in general is so important. Going back to quality of life.
Yeah.
Super roundabout, long-winded answer to a very simple question.
I was like, okay.
I kind of wish you would have went last because my answer is not looking so high right now.
You picked
that's great. I was listening to a podcast earlier, and that was sort of the topic. They were talking about like injuries and things, and then talking about wishing they had the wisdom that they have now back when they were younger and healthier and could perform optimally without the stiff, achy things, So I was thinking about that today.
Sure.
I thought it was interesting. I thought that was a good opportunity to interject it. I'm sorry, I'm off my soapbox. Somebody else can talk now.
You don't hear TED Talk?
Go with my TED Talk.
So, Mike, why don't you go ahead and go? Because I got mine already picked out. So
if I didn't have mine, I should go now? All right, that's fine.
Well, you...
No, I like this. Number one, if it's one thing that I wish I would have... So it's like something I wish I would have known more of or not taken for granted. Is that really the... Okay.
Like maybe just taken more seriously.
Right. I think when I grew up, so I'm one of three. I have two older sisters, and my childhood revolved around shuffling us kids to sporting events. And I feel like food was not my best friend when I was a kid. And I feel like that's one thing I wish that not even myself, like maybe my family was just better at, just like with their genetics. But I remember playing a 6:00 baseball game and then getting McDonald's and then going home. And then if I didn't have baseball, my sister had softball, she'd have a game, we'd go get McDonald's. It was whenever we were on the run, we didn't always eat the best, order pizzas. We ate out way too much as kids. And then
sports and food kind of did this.
Yeah, Little Debbie just invented some things that I really, really like. But shout out to Constant Brownies. But anyway, yeah, I'm telling you. Anyway, I think food would probably be one. Two, I think reading for sure. I wish I would have read more when I was younger. And I feel like as I get older, exercising the mind and reading and just getting better at retaining, retaining knowledge. It's not, 100% about my interest in fitness, just kind of, your mind's a muscle too. So I have books sitting next to my computer. I mean, I'm always reading something, I feel like now. And I kind of get it from my wife who reads, I think she's on like her 13th book or something of 2021, which is it's only February. So that's kind of wild to me. So just trying to do that. I think I should have taken reading more seriously. And then I'm trying to think of something that's more like not philosophical, but more like deep, kind
Something
of
more
like what you had,
profound.
Ethan. Yeah. So okay, here it is. So I was listening to a podcast. I was listening to a podcast with the doctor today, and one thing they were talking about is signing up for a competition doesn't make you a competitor. It's how you train yourself that makes you the competitor, because you're competing against yourself. You don't care. I don't care what, if you two signed up. I don't care how your guys' results are. I'm competing against myself. When it's something like this and you're pushing yourself to the limits on like these types of exercises, you're competing against yourself. And I feel like with playing sports in high school, playing football and volleyball and stuff, and then now doing this kind of just like exercise competition stuff, I wish I had more when I was younger, more of a drive to better myself versus just trying to be, the best hitter on my baseball team, or like, you're always comparing yourself to your friends. Like, no, I'm the best first baseman. I'm the best pitcher. Like, I feel like you always have to, I just compared myself too much to people growing up. Like, you're in high school and you're looking at the upperclassmen and you compare yourself to their game, or like to what they're doing in the gym. And really you should have just been competing with yourself the whole time and be like, well, I should be better than the Mickey I was yesterday. Like, I think having that mentality, moving forward through high school would have been pretty awesome to have. And I feel like that's my mentality now, is just trying to get better in every area, with the reading, the eating, the sleeping, the fitness, the relationships with my family, relationships with my wife, friends like you guys. And I feel like being the best version of that in all those areas is definitely where I want to be now, which I wish I would have learned earlier. So
Love that. I love that. You said that very well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very well spoken.
So I guess
that's a great idea.
Yeah, I like that. So mine kind of like piggybacked off of yours. One of them was reading. I got made fun of a lot growing up, like, because I stutter. So like popcorn reading, where like a kid would be like, read a paragraph and go, okay, John, you read, and I would stutter through it and I get made fun of. So like I was like, nope, not reading anymore. Like I would literally like I would put the book down and push it away and be like, someone else can go. I'm not reading. So something that I tried to work on this year was, especially like Mike gave me a book to read, that Unlearned book. I was probably like the first book in a while that I've read like cover to cover. So that's one of the things that I think reading kind of impacted me a lot this year. The next one I had was spending time with people. Like I was away for 5 years, like to school, and I only came home for like Christmas and summers. So getting to spend that time with like my grandparents and the rest of my family, I feel is so important, because not a whole lot of people understand how much time you have left with your family. Probably one of the best things I heard was someone asked this guy, he goes, do you live near your parents? He goes, no, they live in California or something like that. And he goes, so how many times do you see your parents? He goes, oh, I see them for Christmas and over the summer. And he goes, but they're 60. I got, 20, 30 more years with families. He goes, no, you have maybe 10 more visits with your parents. And just goes to show how valuable time is with the people we care about.
Sure.
And the last thing was something that I bought was training shoes. I never put a whole lot of emphasis in the stuff that I wear for, like, on my feet. And Mike kind of peer pressured me into buying Metcons.
What?
Very necessary.
Yeah, but it was like, I have a pair of running shoes now and a pair of lifting type shoes, and it helps so much, especially for me being a bigger guy that grew out of shoes so quickly growing up. Like, it would be like, oh, he just got new shoes. Well, it's 4 months later and he grew a foot. So we need to get new shoes.
Like, hey, you grew a third foot, or like
no, I grew
a foot in height. Oh, okay.
Hi, Nike. Can I get 2 left foot Metcons and 1 right foot, please? Oh, they're all size 18.
But yeah, that's something that I'd never like. I was like, oh, I'll just wear the same pair of shoes till they break, or till they explode or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well,
So,
then Crocs
good.
were
That's
invented, so
interesting.
you were
and then Crocs
saved.
were invented, and Crocs became my new favorite footwear.
Crocs above all else.
If I could wear them to
Yeah.
work, I would. I really would.
You sit
Yeah,
at a
we
desk,
know.
nobody can see your feet. You just wear your Crocs, man.
John, bring those running shoes tomorrow.
That's good. I like that. I'm gonna. I didn't have an official third, and I'm gonna steal one from both of you guys, and I'm gonna say reading. That's my official
Yeah.
third. I love that because I didn't read much as a kid. I read what was required for school,
Sure,
but I didn't
sure.
enjoy it. I didn't learn anything
Yeah.
from it because at the time I thought reading was dumb. So in my
Yeah.
adult years, I have found I'm reading a lot more.
Yeah. I blame reading for me finding out about Santa Claus in the 3rd grade. So
Ooh,
there's that. Yeah.
so you really hate reading.
Dude, it messed me up for a while. It did.
That left scars, man.
Dude, it was rough. It was
Oh,
rough.
man.
Like 3rd grade, you find out about Santa Claus it was on Christmas break. Like was home for Christmas break, and I read this book, and the chapter was titled "When I Found Out About Santa Claus," and I'm like flipping through it, like
What?
terrified.
You should have just pushed the book away and said someone else can read this.
Not ready.
No,
Not
actually,
ready for this.
we went to the library to pick out books, and I was kind of like the smart aleck kid growing up. So I was like, "Oh, I'll pick a book," and I grabbed a book about like football. It was like all pictures. I was like, "I'll read
Was
this."
Good stuff. I think we had a good combination of like profound ideas
Sure.
and real things.
Yeah, so a lot of
I think our next topic we should talk about 3 things that we learned as adults that we want to improve moving forward. So I know from like being a kid till now, what we wish we would have known, but things that we learned, I guess, in the past couple of years. And it can even be from like what COVID brought us, but just what have we learned recently to help us kind of just improve overall quality of life. So we can touch on that next week.
I think talking about COVID and like where we were at the beginning and where we are now, I think would be really
it's huge.
Oh, hey, you guys still there?
Yes.
Yeah, we were just talking about how you weren't here.
We
had to take a call from my boss, aka my fiance.
Oh. Do we need a pause?
No. She's off work. She likes to let me know when she's on her way home.
Yeah,
and I don't want to miss that.
We're gonna have
priorities.
We're gonna
Sorry,
have
guys.
buttons that say pause.
Yeah. Well, we can start doing like ask us fitness questions. Like we'll make posts or like stories or like posts about ask us fitness questions or even nutrition questions. And if people ask us, then I'll just have Julia answer them. Like at night before she goes to bed, she'll just answer questions. Even just kind of promoting some of that stuff. And Ethan, you can talk to Ray, figure out how we should, market that or promote that first, and like what's the best way to go about all that. But I feel like besides posting while we edit this video, like kind of get a little more hands-on out there, and we should be moving and grooving, moving and brewing.
Yeah.
Hey, moving and brewing, boy.
Heck yeah! Oh, shout out to the Annex of Webster. I know we were like gonna have this brew time. Ethan, you gotta try this place, man. I had their vanilla latte like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, this is their best drink. This is awesome. They have a cortado, which is it's like a flat white, but it's not as much foam as like what a flat white is at Starbucks. But oh man, it's got such good flavor to their shots. They are so good. So
okay, I expect you to bring me one of those tomorrow. Yeah, I expect one tomorrow.
Tomorrow it is.
Yeah.
I'll hit up the Annex tomorrow. How about that?
Weren't we also gonna shout out a couple of our followers on Instagram too?
No, we were gonna call them out.
Call them out. We were going to call them out.
We're gonna be like, "Yo, Josh Gaines, why didn't you work out today?"
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So what?
Where you at, Josh?
I'm just gonna scroll through and hit a random person, and Nate Stelkin. Oh, he's playing football.
Oh boy.
Hey, our boy Nate.
He's playing.
It doesn't matter. He should still be getting this. He should still be getting his work in. Where you at, Nate?
Shout out to Nate Stelkin.
That's funny. We should shout him out tomorrow on our story or something. Like, hey Nate, we talked about you yesterday.
Hey Nate, did you work out?
Yeah.
You trained today, buddy?
He's like, hey, I'm in college. I did.
Yeah. Send us some movement, Nate. Let's see it.
All right.
That's funny.
Poor Nate. Calling the ball.
All right, guys. Well, we should probably go enjoy this weather, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 65 and sunny here in STL.
So
Let's go move.